2 days after her husband was buried, Kouri Richins walked to his personal safe, picked up a drill, and broke it open. Inside was at least $125,000 in cash. She took it. No hesitation, no grief, no pause. Eric Richins had been dead for 48 hours, and his wife was already collecting. That single moment, quiet, deliberate, and entirely calculated, tells you almost everything you need to know about what really happened on the night of March 4th, 2022, in Camas, Utah. Eric Richins was 39 years old. He and Kouri had been married since June of 2013, raising 3 young sons together in this small mountain community near Park City. From the outside, they looked like an ambitious couple building something real. Properties, a business, a future. But behind that image, the marriage had been quietly falling apart for years. Friends who testified at trial said Kouri felt trapped, partly because a prenuptial agreement limited what she could take if they divorced. In 2019, she launched a house-flipping business called Kouri Richins Realty. To fund it, she drew from a $250,000 home equity line of credit secured against the family home, using Eric's power of attorney without his knowledge. The business expanded. The debt expanded faster. By 2020, Kouri had accumulated millions of dollars in personal and business liabilities. That same year, she began an affair with a man named Robert Josh Grossman, a business associate who also worked with her flipping properties. Text messages recovered during the investigation showed the two discussing marriage and a shared future together. Eric, meanwhile, had started noticing the financial damage. In September 2020, he discovered that Kouri had been forging his signature on legal documents to secure loans in his name. He consulted a divorce attorney, then an estate planning lawyer. By October, he had quietly transferred his entire estate into a family trust controlled by his sister, Kouri Richins Benson, for the sole benefit of his 3 children. Kouri was cut out completely, and she never knew. What she did believe was that she stood to collect nearly $2 million in life insurance upon Eric's death. She had been secretly opening those policies since 2015, forging his signature on everyone. With divorce offering her almost nothing and debt closing in from every direction, that insurance payout had become her only real financial exit. In early 2022, Kouri approached her housekeeper, Carmen Lauber, and asked her to procure drugs. Lauber testified at trial that she made 4 separate purchases at Kouri's request, starting with hydrocodone, then escalating. On the 3rd request, Kouri asked specifically for fentanyl, telling Lauber her investor wanted something stronger, something with more potency. Lauber bought the pills from a contact at a gas station in Draper, Utah, and delivered them to Kouri. On Valentine's Day, February 14, 2022, prosecutors say Kouri made her first attempt. She laced a sandwich with fentanyl and gave it to Eric. He became violently ill, but survived. 17 days later, on the night of March 4th, she tried again. She prepared his favorite drink, a Moscow Mule cocktail, and laced it with a lethal dose of fentanyl. Then she went to bed. When she called 911 to report that Eric was unconscious, paramedics arrived to find him already dead. The autopsy confirmed a fentanyl overdose. The concentration in his system was 5 times the amount required to kill a person, ingested orally. Then came the safe. Then the insurance claims. Then the lawsuit Kouri filed against Eric's trust, contesting his sister's role as personal representative. And then in March of 2023 came the book. Kouri self-published a children's grief title called Are You With Me?, designed to help kids process the sudden loss of a parent. She appeared on a Utah morning television show to promote it, describing herself as a devoted mother, helping her children heal from their father's unexpected death. 6 weeks later, on May 8, 2023, she was arrested for his murder. Her phone's search history told part of the story. Investigators found queries for lethal dose of fentanyl, women Utah prison, and can cops force you to do a lie detector test? Inside her jail cell, they found something worse. A handwritten letter instructing her mother to have a family member falsely claim that Eric had requested the drugs himself. The trial opened in February 2026 and ran 13 days. The prosecution called more than 40 witnesses. Lauber described the fentanyl purchases in detail. Grossman testified about the affair, visibly shaken on the stand. A forensic accountant walked the jury through years of financial fraud. The defense rested without calling a single witness. Kouri did not testify. The jury deliberated for 3 hours and returned guilty verdicts on every count. aggravated murder, attempted aggravated murder, 2 counts of insurance fraud and forgery. On May 13th, 2026, Eric Richins' birthday, the day he would have turned 44. Judge Richard Mrazek sentenced Kouri to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Her 3 sons, now living under the guardianship of their aunt, submitted statements saying they were afraid of what would happen if she was ever released. At sentencing, Kouri called the jury's verdict an absolute lie. The judge called her simply too dangerous to ever be free.